Hey everybody, it's David Hooker here, and today I'm going to be talking about insecurities. So, I feel like the root of all insecurities start with comparison. Comparing ourselves to people we figure is better in different aspects, whether that's beauty, success, or anything we figure that they have that is superior. One of the feelings I've been through when I was insecure was feeling meaningless compared to other people, feeling that I was the inferior option compared to somebody else, feeling less successful, less attractive, pretty much just feeling less than, And I believe that the true cure to insecurity or of any sort would be self-love, and self-love, I believe, builds natural confidence, I think no matter how you're born, genetic-wise, you're beautiful. Whether you're born with deformities or any type of look or physique or anything, I believe that you're just beautiful. Even if you're born different than others and you have disabilities of any sort or anything, under every circumstance, your natural beauty is beautiful. If people didn't judge so much, as in, what I mean by judge is like about how people look. It's like some people who will say, hey, I prefer this color over that color, or I prefer this person over that person. I feel like those preferences, in a way, divide us. Now, there's nothing wrong with setting standards to what you want, according to character, because a person's character, how they treat themselves, is of course kind of going to resemble how they'll treat you. If they take care of themselves, if they love themselves, if they have a healthy mindset, more than likely they're not going to mistreat you or anything like that. But if a person's mean, rude, they have like some unhealthy ways of dealing with their problems and everything, more than likely they're not going to be able to take care of you very well. Usually rejection is like protection, like I agree with that, but I feel like sometimes it also causes anxiety and it also causes insecurity because it makes you feel unwanted. It actually hurts. I feel like when you're rejected by somebody, it causes insecurity because it causes you to think it's your fault. That you're not up to par, that something is wrong with you, or that you're not good enough to be accepted by something you desire to be with. And I feel like that plays a deep role. Like something you want, you will figure you're not good enough to have because in a way you were rejected by the thing that you wanted. And because you were rejected by something that you wanted, in a way that kind of plays into how you think of yourself. You would think, I'm not good enough to have what I want because I feel like I lack the qualities or I lack the look to claim this thing that I want. A pretty face to me wouldn't fulfill my needs at all. Like personally, all a pretty face can do is just look pretty, and pretty much it's only good for display. It's kind of like there is no deeper meaning it's like I feel like insecurities is just about the surface of yourself, and when you're living by the surface of yourself, that becomes like your life. It's like, hey, it's like when people look at a person that can't walk. There's people that will say, if I couldn't walk, I wouldn't be able to live with myself. It's like, okay, so if you didn't have this, if you didn't have arms, if you didn't have or legs, you wouldn't be able to live. Because of course we value the things that we have attached to us, and we appreciate the things that we do have, but it's like we're able to live without those things. There's plenty of people that can't walk, that can't do what the average human can do, that are limited to what they can do, and still are able to live happy lives because they don't allow that to determine how they see themselves. The disabilities, whether that's scars, marks, or whatever, they don't allow that to determine how they're going to live forever. And I feel like when you're insecure about yourself, whether that's about different aspects of your body or different proportions or sizes of different things attached to you, and what you want enhanced and what you want reduced, because I feel like we're too focused on, when you're insecure, you're too focused on what the other person is seeing. You're living by somebody else's standards. You're worried about somebody else's standards. You're concerned with somebody else's standards. You're concerned with the outsider's view of you. But at the end of the day, you're not living for that person. You're living for yourself. So I feel like there's times we're caught up in how we look to another person, because we know how we look. Ever since we were born, through the phases of life, we've seen ourselves more than anybody else. And if we were only surrounded by people who encouraged us, and people that did not critique us, and people that did not try to project what perfect is to them onto us, we wouldn't have the issue with ourselves that we do now. Like, what's underneath the surface is way more meaningful than the surface itself. Like, we could look at grass, but grass wouldn't be anything without roots, without the dirt, pretty much without its source. Just like trees or anything, or a flower. It's like, what's inside of us is really what makes who we are, not what's outside of us. I feel like we're too caught up in what doesn't matter. And when you focus and prioritize on things that don't matter, like how something looks or the design of something, then we lose sight of what's truly important. I feel like people objectify other people so much to the point where that person doesn't even feel like a person, doesn't even feel comfortable in their own flesh, and just wish they could be something more acceptable to everybody else, or something simply that they could look at and actually be happy about. I feel like with the internet and the social media and everything, sometimes makes people not want to be themselves. They will, like, it makes people want to follow trends and do all this different stuff just to be seen as acceptable or adaptable, you know? And I feel like a lot of people lose their uniqueness that way because they're too busy on trying to be something or become a character that's appealing to the crowd but not to themselves. The goal to beating insecurity would simply be to love yourself. Because once you love yourself within, then outside of you will start to look more and more beautiful. But it takes a mental shift. You have to take time to learn what you do appreciate about yourself. Take time to actually admire yourself, or do something that makes you happy. Do something that you like to do. Do things you enjoy. Do things you're confident that you could do. You should continue to try to enjoy your own company your smile, and everything about you, and just practice loving you. Do research on how to love yourself. Do a lot of things, take notes. Just study and practice and gain the knowledge on how to become more comfortable in your own skin. Know what matters to you and not to other people. Just learn to prefer yourself rather than prefer to be like anyone else. Learn to love your personality. Don't be ashamed to be you just because other people are critical about who you are. We all have flaws. None of us are perfect. None of us is in the place to judge another, because all of us have did something that we're not proud of. All of us have made mistakes, both right and wrong decisions that not everybody knows about, but it's also not everybody's business. But at the same time, from those experiences, we learned that nobody is perfect, and that we should learn to accept each other, love each other, and understand each other. And honestly, guide each other to become better versions of ourselves. Be happy to be who you are. That's one thing I've learned, is to always be happy in my own flesh. And I still struggle with insecurities, but I'm constantly trying to improve myself, to be more happy in my skin, to constantly not seek validation from other people, to not always base my value off of how somebody else sees me, because that could change in a second, but base my value off of my heart and how I see myself, and not to be too hard on myself, and to understand myself, and always be forgiving to yourself. Don't ever be too critical to yourself. Do not become your own worst critic. Be loving to yourself, because there's plenty of people here on this earth that will look down on you. So you have to be the one to kind of look up to yourself. But that's all I really wanted to share tonight. And I love all of you, and I hope you guys have a good day. Who's ever listening to this, I want you to know that you're beautiful the way that you are, and that continue to spread love to others and show them the beauty in themselves. Alright. Bye, guys.